Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we are live. I came live just a few minutes early just in case to make sure that everything is fine. And yes, I can see the comments here. Great, guys. There's already people here, so that's very cool. Let's make a quick thing. How's the quality? Is quality okay? And maybe my backup monitor could actually like see if everything is working as well. Okay. We should be doing fine. According to the tests, my stream could be okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, soon we'll start. And guys, just to like give a bit of a heads out, like two things. First, this is my first live for at least 2 years. So I might be a bit rusty, a bit nervous and stuff. And the second thing is that you are actually seeing me like 15 seconds behind. So if you add a comment, I probably see it like 15 seconds later, meaning that when you send it, I see it immediately, but then the live stream that you are seeing will see it kind of 15 seconds late. Okay. Let's try the hotkeys. Yes, these are working as well. Cool. Okay. How about we just start? So, this is the first live stream of my Black Build Week, where I'm challenging myself to build the best grading system for DaVinci Resolve. Kind of half live, because actually I'm building it behind the camera, like off screen during the daytime, and then in the evening I come here to the live and share what I've done, and then let's talk together, and like you can give me feedbacks, you can ask questions and things like that. So today, here we are in the introduction system, like I'm introducing this whole concept to you guys. Then I'm going to introduce you to the new node system in the ACES Lite look library. But of course, I'm going to tell you which, if you don't know what is the ACES Lite look library, I will of course tell you what it is beforehand. And then in the end, I'm going to give you the today's Pro tool drop. I'm kind of figuring out still what is the name for this concept, because I don't want to use free, because if I send it on emails as free stuff, then the email spam filters will take it away. You won't see it if I use the word free. So I'm just thinking about these words. But anyway, it's something I'm going to give out for you guys for free. And it's only for you guys who are in the live stream, because the link is going to be, it's not up yet, but soon it's going to be up. So after this live stream, you go to the link and you can download it. It's going to be there for a few hours, so you need to be quick. And the tool that I'm going to give out for you today is Comatic aberration. And here's an image of an astronaut landed, I don't know where, this is like weird picture. And this is like a very extreme case of chromatic aberration. And it's this kind of like weird ray-like effect that goes from the center of the image. And we'll talk about that soon as well. And yeah, and just to kind of make sure that I'm awake and alive, let me check the comments here. Yeah, cool. Okay, you guys are here. And I'm still nervous. My heart rate is probably like, I don't know, 100. But good. Whew. Okay, so let's continue. So let's talk about what is the ACES Lite look library. Well, ACES Lite look library is a product that I actually developed a year ago, 2024. No, 2024. Yeah, last year ago. I actually launched it exactly at the Black Friday last year. And I've been developing it over and over and over. Like I'm constantly developing it. In the beginning, I only had like 3 looks in it. And then now there's 11. And soon during this week, I hope I'm gonna break the 20 looks mark. But actually it's no more actually doesn't make sense to count the looks, because there are going to be so many kind of variations of the look. So we're not gonna just talk about them. And let me show you how the new node system works, and then we can kind of talk about it a bit, and then I'm going to show you the fancy new Comatic aberration effect. So here I have a bit of clips in DaVinci Resolve, and the way I like to use DaVinci Resolve and the color grading system is that I grade in groups. So for example, let's go to the clip tab. So this is how people normally grade. So they have everything on the clip tab, and actually in this case I don't even need those. So they have everything on the clip tab, but I like to add everything into a group. So add into a new group, or here I add them to this look library group. And when I have them in a group, whatever I do here in the group post clip, I've told this so many times in my courses and my YouTube videos, I feel like a parrot. Anyway, whatever I do here, for example, if I desaturate this, you can see that all of them were desaturated at once. So that's a very fast way of creating, like modifying the looks. So I'm here, and ODT is output device transform. Okay, let's turn off these nodes. Let's say select a bit simple one. We don't have so many. Okay, this is better. I don't have so many nodes here. Easy to explain this one. So let's turn all of the nodes off so you can kind of understand what we're doing, and then you can understand the power of the look library, because we don't have the look library here yet. It's not here anywhere. So this clip is, I remember this is raw. No, actually this is a shot raw camera, and it's red, white, gamut, RGB, log 3G12 actually. And that's the kind of the raw colors that we get out of the camera. I mean, raw developed colors. The first node, this is called IDT, is an input device transform where we put our colors into our working color space. And in ACES Lite, the look library, the working color space is ACES CCT. But the new version actually works almost identically in DaVinci Intermediate, and it can even work in like Log C if you use that color space. Then the next node is an exposure node where I'm just raising the exposure. And then here in the group clip, I have an ODT, that means output device transform node. And that takes our footage into the delivery color space, which is Rec 709. And I have it here in the color management settings, Rec 709, and actually it's on the time volume. Don't worry about this warning here. So it's Rec 709. And this is actually something interesting I'm going to talk about in a future YouTube video, maybe December after the Black Week is done. And that is that, like, I already made a YouTube video about this, why I use Rec 709A, because that's so wrong. Like all the professionals say it's wrong. And I made a video about it, and a lot of professionals commented on it, and I made a lot of new tests, and I'm even more fascinated why is it the correct, like that's the correct use on YouTube. That's the one YouTube wants if you're on Mac. I'm gonna make a YouTube video about it, so we don't need to talk about it in this video. Okay, anyway, so that's our setup. Sorry, a bit of tangent there. So we go into our working color space, and that happens on the clip level because there's so many different cameras on the timeline now. And now we go into working color space, then we fix our exposure, and we fix it with the global wheel because that's almost like raw-like accuracy. Then here we go to ODT, and now it's time for the look library. And this is the new node system. Previously, let me show you, this was my previous look library, and you can see that there were so many different power grades here, like so many different. Now, in the new version of the look library, there's only an IDT, an ODT, and the look library itself. So we're just going to drag and drop it here on the timeline. And let's wait. And there we go. Let's put it a bit bigger. And node on, and let's make, there we go. So that's without, and that's with. And now it's just applying one of the many different settings inside it. And now here comes the power of it. So whenever you can kind of see this stack of nodes, that means that it's a compound node. And when you go inside it, there's actually many new other compound nodes. And actually, I should add this box icon to the first one as well, because that's my new system as well, that whenever there's this box icon, it means that it's a compound node. And so here are all the nodes, and I'm gonna make them into some kind of, let's put them in some kind of order. So I'm still kind of working on this. So let's organize them. So this is a working process. So sorry guys, eventually this will be hopefully very clear to you guys and everything is ready for you. This is going to be up on the courses. So if you already have bought the ACES Lite look library, the previous version, you're going to get this for free as well. So don't worry, you don't need to buy this again. And this will be up there in just a few days. Just give me a bit of time because, well, I'm a bit, how is it? I'm in deep waters with this. This is quite a challenge. Okay, so now let's turn everything off. And this is now, wait, let's go. Okay, now it's doing something, and there we go. Now it's basically not doing anything. Let's select a different image. And this, I'm now breaking down the look library into kind of almost like a plugin. Like you often have these plugins, for example, let's have like a dehancer or like, well, I have the film box here, so let's add that there. There. In the film box, let's drive it here, and then let's drive it to the output. Like often in Filmbox, you have like the IDT here, like where you choose your camera profile, then you do your white balance exposure, then you have your film color settings, and then you have some richness settings, and then you have like print settings, and then you have like halation and grain, and like halation and grain, and all of those things. And they're here, like everything in this one panel. So I'm actually doing the same thing in a way, but I'm doing it in this kind of like a node tree, and I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to, like, as intuitive as possible. Because the previous version, especially when there started to be kind of like 16 different looks in the same thing, it wasn't so intuitive anymore. But now it should be quite intuitive. So let's go through them one by one. The first one, I'm going to turn it on with the hotkey. So this is the color, and now it's one of the film emulations, but I can easily just drag and drop and go and select, for example, the Cinemodern or potentially like Noir contrast. And actually, not all of the looks are even. I didn't have the time to add them here. But these are basically kind of like adding a lot to your image. So this is just the color, just the color. It's already quite powerful, and some of the effects, for example, Noir contrast. This is, you can make this look with the LUT. That LUT technology is not enough good for this to work. But anyway, let's not go into that yet. So anyway, here you kind of choose the kind of color you want, and the name. If I press show, let's say node label, I can see the whole name, and I have a short keyboard shortcut for that. So tab, whenever I press tab, I can see the whole name there. And this is the first thing. You can easily kind of change the looks from here. And about these icons, I'm teaching this to you now. When there's like a link icon, it means that it's one out of many options. So like when there's this link icon, the point in this, when you can see these link icons, the idea is that I link one of the ones I want to use. I use them like this. And you can see that there's this box icon, so it means it's a compound node. So if I go inside here, I can actually see like how the look, this color effect is done. And again, you can see these boxes, so you can go even inside here. And then, and this is the thing, this is the power of this method. This is not a plugin, this is a like power grade. The power here is that everything is under your control. So for example, this density node, let's see that there's some kind of like a weird artifact somewhere. There shouldn't be any, I'll fix them along the way. But here you can see like, oh, it's here. I just reset these, and then hopefully it goes away. Like, well, hopefully there's no artifacts. I have been hunting them for so long. There should be no artifacts. But anyway, so all of it's almost like the code of the plugin is at your hands if you want to go that far. But you don't need to, because you can just like do this linking as you wish. Okay, so that's the first part of this game. Then let's go, what would we like to do next? Let's go, like, it's almost like a candy shop. So the next one is the lens effects, and this gives, you saw something happened there. If we'll zoom in, you can see that something happened. And this is again, this is a box. So if we double click, we go inside it, and then we have a lot of other boxes and other effects. So for example, here's optical filters, and it's a box. So we go inside it, and what we find links, and we have promised filters, glimmer glass filters, classic soft filters, and smoke filters, and I will add more. And here, if I drag and drop, for example, the promised filter, you can see it changes a bit. And again, it's a box, so I can go inside it, and here I can change the strength. For example, this is promised half for 50mm lens, because the focal length of the lens affects the behavior of that optical filter. So I can drag and drop that one, and that should get a bit bigger, like, yeah, it slightly get bigger. And that's how you can kind of go almost like in these plugins, you have this like endless drop down menus, but here you can do the kind of the same thing. And then, and by the way, if you click here, it goes one step up and one step up and one step up. And I will teach you this in the update for the course. Whew, okay, so that was optical filters. Then let's talk about coma. Let's turn the optical filters off for now. And now this is the coma, and there's already a slight coma, because in many lenses, many vintage lenses, the coma is not so strong, but you can see like a slight coma there, and it's a box. So we'll go inside, and let's put it to large coma, and now you can start seeing this, and it's almost like a zoom in effect. I don't think there's any lenses that have this strong of a coma, but if you want to push the effect so far, you can. And then when there's this kind of like a black and white icon next to the box icon, like even in the name, that means that it's a good candidate to just adjust with the opacity. So for example, this is at 0.7. So I can put it 1 to make it slightly stronger, or then I can put it like 0.2, for example, to make it softer. So that's like this icon means that it's a good candidate for the key output there. Okay, what else? Let's then put the chromatic aberration. Let's find a good image for that. For example, maybe this one. Okay, the comma is way too strong. Let's put that back to small. There we go. And now let's talk about the chromatic aberration. And that adds this red and blue fringe in the edges. And that happens in some lenses. Then we have reflections. So for example, if we would have like what would be good, maybe this one. If we have like an image with some light sources, it will add a reflection to the side. And I'm gonna put my playback to quarter so we can get real-time playback. And that color there, it's not really visible in that one. Actually, that's in this one, it's really good. But I apparently have something weird going on. Okay, let's fix those. Okay, there we go. So now here in the reflections, you can see that there's this reflection like playing around in the image, like there. Let's get it back. And that's the reflection effect. And this is actually a very nice tool if you want to add a bit of color to your grade. So for example here, if I, and by the way, when there's this kind of like a gear icon, like this kind of like tools like that, it means that it's a good candidate for tweaking the settings. So if I look at this and then I look at this icon here, it's in the effects. And here I can, for example, change the, let's add something like very warm orange, something like that. And then I'm gonna boost it up, or maybe not orange, maybe maybe magenta, or I don't know, teal. I can change the color there. And this is a really fun way to add like a complementary color into your image without it looking artificial. So this is like, I don't know, it's almost like we could be going back in the camera and change the quoting on the lens to give a different kind of color for the reflection. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes not. So be mindful about that. It might be a good idea to even add this to a clip by clip basis. Then of course, a vignette is a simple vignette. So I can add a vignette to the screen, and then it has this black and white icon. So I can make it stronger by putting this into 1, or I can make it stronger by putting it 0.2 or so. But let's turn that off. Okay, so that's the lens effects. Okay, how long? Okay, we're in time. Okay, there's so many different effects, and these are just the effects that are already in the look library, except the coma aberration. That's not in the look library yet. But before we continue, I'm actually going to switch my camera here. And let's say that you can see my face. Okay, I'm gonna read some comments now. So you can if you want to ask something before we continue, I'm gonna just look at the comments. And remember, I'm like 15 seconds behind you. So when you post it takes me like 15 seconds to realize that you sent me something. So, okay, let's see which is first. Okay, here we go. So now I'm gonna take like a 10-second breathing session just to get my heart rate down again. And I'm seeing like someone's from Italy. I'm actually in Italy as well. I just came today. I'm in Italy. So it was Nicola. Hi, Nicola. I'm in north of Italy. I'm going to the south of DC, Greece. I'm planning to go there as well. Maybe. I don't promise anything. Okay. And hi, France. I was there today actually as well. And by the way, this where I'm like this studio of mine. You can see this interesting noir like moire effect here. This is actually my car. So we are in a like a camper van, and I set up my studio here. And maybe I'll show this to you later. But I'm now like a full-time van YouTuber. Maybe I'll make a YouTube video about that later. But anyway, how about I just continue because well, you guys didn't ask me any questions, or then my system is just broken and I didn't get them. So sorry, mates. Okay, let's continue. So. And let's make sure that I share my screen as well. There we go. Good. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, so the next category is film effects. So when I turn this on, and it's a box again, so it means a compound node. So when I go inside it, there is a lot of options. Diffusion, let's look, for example, let's find a good one for this. Maybe there's nice skin tones. And let's turn off the lens effects for now, so you can actually see what these are doing. So when we stack so many on top of it, so it's not so difficult. It's difficult to see what is the actual effect. So diffusion is this kind of like a weird effect that takes away the sharpness, or like the kind of the what is the sharp edge of digital footage. I came up with this effect a long time ago. It's a combination of the glow effect and some tweaking here in the curves. Okay. My monitor girlfriend said that we have some issues with the playback. So hopefully we get some better internet, because we are actually running my internet through the... Okay, apparently the video is okay, but the audio is cutting. Well, this is the life of... Well, sorry, my voice has technical issues as well. Okay. So hopefully the audio gets better, but then just watch. Okay, first diffusion. Then we have halation, and again it's a box, so you can choose what kind of a version of the halation you want. For example, if you choose like the extra large, then you can start seeing a lot of halation happening, or then you can put it to medium, and then there's the halation much weaker there. And this is, as I said like a year ago on one of my YouTube videos, this is still probably the best halation there is on the market, because it's physically accurate halation. I'm not gonna talk about that now. Then we have scan dust, and scan dust is very, very small effect. You can see actually one here, and let's put it to full playback. And the scan dust adds this small dust particles to your image, almost like it's emulating if there's a bit of dust in the scanning process. Then we have film damage, which is the opposite, like something happening to the printed out negative, and it adds a bit of like dust, like black dust. Then breath is this kind of a flickering to the image. The image is kind of, the exposure is flickering just a bit. And to be honest, I don't actually know at where from the pipeline that is coming from. Let's see if I play it back. You can see that there's a bit of this kind of flickering, and you can see that there's like black and white dots in the image. And some come from the scanning process, some come from the projector. So these are the film effects. Then the next one is frame effects, and let's turn all of them on, and you can see that now we have this frame into the image, like these perforations. they don't actually they don't show up so well when we have the playback resolution at quarter. So let's have it full. So there's the preparations, and then there's this kind of a textured frame around the image and all of these, and it's a box, so you can go inside. And okay, here's gate weave. That shakes the image a bit. The one was pushing the exposure up and down. This was shaking the image a bit. Then we have film perfs, which are these perforations. Then there's the film strip that shows many frames, and this one is the frame that adds this textured frame to the edge of the image. So without it, you don't have it. With it, you have the frame. And then soft edge effect makes them slightly softer. So that's the film effects. Okay, let's continue. Not so many anymore left. Actually, let's just get this done quickly. So film compression. This is still a work in process. This is going to be a place where you can kind of play around with them. Because often in film emulation tools, you have this certain kind of like compression of the highlights. The highlights are not like puppy, they're kind of like poppy. They're kind of like squashed down a bit. And that often people consider that to kind of look like film. Even though even movies that are shot on film don't look like that. And when you take photos with an analog camera and develop them yourself and you properly develop them, that's not happening. But for some reason, a lot of people subconsciously consider that to be filmic. So I'm building that film compression part here, so you can have film compression there. Then we have film texture, and currently it's just a collection of different types of grain. And if I zoom all the way in, and are we in full playback? Yes, we are full resolution. The 16 is very, very mild grain, and the 8 is very, very strong grain, as you can see. And you can see that it's not only a grain overlay, it's actually blurring the texture of the image similar as it would be an 8mm film, or if it would be a 16mm, or so on and so forth. Of course, these change according to what film and what kind of film technology there has been. But yeah, that it's not totally accurate, but it looks good. Then the last one is a toning node. And here I have a bunch of toning nodes, and these are kind of like the last polish you can add to your footage. And for example, this is the split tone. It adds a bit of cool to the shadows, warm to the highlights. Then there's teal and orange. You can choose that. And you can always go inside and fix these. And in the course, they will be, I'm going to talk about these, how these work. So basically, that's the workflow. So, I mean, the new node system. So in the previous version, we had so many different power grades, but in the new version, we only have 3. So that's the new version, and let's now go back looking at my face. And I'm gonna take another breather, and after that, how about I show you more about the Comatic aberration, which is our today's freebie, or today's free asset that I'm gonna give out. Okay. So people are asking questions, but in the end, actually, after I have kind of gone through all of these stuff that I want to talk about, after that, let's have like a free form questions and answers section. So yeah, so okay, let me read a bit here. What have you been sending me? Okay, some of have asking about the workflow, like best color pipeline, and so on and so forth. Okay, somebody's asking about the Black Friday deal. Actually, I don't know yet, because I haven't gone that far. Hopefully tomorrow I have a Black Friday deal like happening, and then I'm gonna probably like have like a proper discount for it. And then if you are in the live stream, I'm gonna give you like a secret code that only works for that day. That was what I was thinking. So and it could be that I'm actually raising the price of this product after Black Friday, and then yeah, it's gonna be, I don't know. I'll give you a good discount for the thing. Okay, let's jump to looking at Comatic aberration, and this is actually a really good candidate for that effect. This image, and let's go inside the look library, and it was in the lens effect, so let's go inside the lens effects, and let's turn off chromatic aberration, optical filters, and let's just talk about comma. And right now it has this small comma, which is very very subtle. Let's put the large comma there. Oh wait, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry, mates. There we go. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen. So we had this astronaut lying on the forest floor, and then I'm adding the large chromatic aberration. And I want to show you what is actually chromatic aberration, because this was a new thing for me. Like I've seen the chromatic aberration term floating around in some like when Roger Deakins, for example, talked about how to emulate analog, like old vintage lenses or something. I don't quite remember what it was, and that was like chromatic aberration. I don't know what that is, but then it just came to my mind just some time ago, and I was kind of like, okay, now I need to figure out how this is done. And I'm gonna show you a short, short from YouTube that shows you what is chromatic aberration. And I'm gonna try and get the audio to you. It's probably not gonna. It might even have an echo, but don't worry. Let's try this.
Coma is a form of optical aberration, getting its name from the comet-like tail it's best identified by. Coma is often highlighted in astronomical images because stars make ideal point sources to reveal this telltale sign. Objects near the center of the image will be unaffected, while objects near the edges of the image form comet-like distortions that point towards the system center. Coma is caused by the asymmetry of a beam's rays through an optical element, with off-axis rays or a tilted lens being the most common cause. When a beam is parallel to the lens axis, rays above and below the axis have symmetric paths and focus to circular spots. But beams that deviate from the optical axis create asymmetry, causing both larger and irregularly shaped spots at focus. This is caused by the rays at the top of the beam having different angles of incidence than the rays at the bottom of the beam, which influences the amount of coma present. As a result, coma is also impacted by the beam's position in the lens, which can be adjusted to minimize coma for a given configuration. Along those lines, rays that are parallel to the optical axis, but offset from the center of the lens, can also create coma. The best way to minimize coma is to center both the lens and the beam along the optical axis.
Okay, this is kind of funny because that video was talking about how to minimize coma, but we don't want to minimize it, we want to create it. This is the funny thing about all these effects that engineers, like optical engineers, has been spending decades or even, I don't know, 100 years or more to fix all these issues, and now we stupid colorists want to bring them back, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so let's look at, I have a diagram here. If I scroll all the way here, I should have like one diagram, this one. Let's let it load. There we go. And let's add it to the same group as these other ones are in. So there we go. This is where I'm creating the coma, and this is not like totally accurate because this is like a cheating. This is coma cheating, but it has the same effect. Like all of these like dots here have this like comet-like tail, and that's actually where the name comes from. It's like a comet. So all of these dots become this kind of comet. And when we add a small one, it's of course like smaller comma. And this is done with a combination of center focus, blur, and masking, and all of those things. And well, I think I'm not gonna go into that. They have like zoom blurs, like large, small, medium, like all these things. And that's the beauty of it. If you're interested, you can actually go and look inside this, and you can see these icons, like effects, something with the like the opacity of the node as well, and there's actually a lock. So for some reason I've just locked them, but don't worry, you can unlock them easily just by lock and unlock the node. And then one thing that is actually important about this, if you right click, there's often a composite mode, and sometimes I use one of these composite modes in the node as well. So if you try to kind of like look how they're done, make sure that you test the composite node as well, how that's done. And you can go inside. I'm going to give this comma tool for you. And I think this comma tool works straight away in other log-based, log-based working color spaces. It should work just fine in the DaVinci Intermediate. Who knows, maybe it even works in the system-wide color management. And so when you're working, let's say, let's look at this image, for example, and let's turn off the comma here on lens effects. Let's turn that off. And for example, if you would be working with this image and then you want to add the comma, okay, let's remove those. Let's make it a bit more clear. There we go. You're gonna get the comma power grade, comma effect. You just drag and drop it here on the signal path after your IDT, so after you go to your working color space, and then just drag and drop it there, and then you should have the effect. Right now it's very small because by default, no, actually that's the large. Weird. Okay, maybe that's not the best. Okay, it's there. Okay, it was there. Oh, that's interesting, because I kind of like became blind to it. Well, maybe it means that it's a good effect because I don't see it directly there. Anyway, that's how it works. And I had here's the link, Joo.Works live tool. That website is actually not live right now. After I'm done with this session that we're having right now, I'm gonna add it there. It's gonna be very simple website, Joo.Works live tool. Go there and it's gonna be up there for a few hours. So then go and download it, test it out. If you have any feedback on it, tell me. And yeah, so okay. So now, before we go into the questions and answers session, I want to take one deep breath again, because I'm still my heart rate is still up. And then about tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to build next for this. I'm going to be building many more film emulation looks to the system, because I have done some preliminary work for that. And then I'm going to add, out of popular request, I'm going to add more commercial looks, because a lot of this tool is about film emulation, but I actually want it to be for everybody, not only people who are trying to emulate film. So I'm going to add like commercial looks there as well, whatever that means. I need to get my head straight about what that means. And then I'm going to add a few more effects we're going to talk about. And then later this week, I want to actually show you showcases of what is it? I want to try to show you how to use other tools in this system as well. So for example, I have new friends of mine, created this lens node tool that is amazing and is really nice. It has some overlap with this tool, quite a lot, but it's still amazing. I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you another subscriber or a client of mine showed me Latify app, and it's an amazing tool as well, and you can easily incorporate it with this tool and use it with this tool. And that's the beauty of when it's not a plugin, it's a power grade. You can combine different tools there and you build your own Frankenstein, or hopefully some beautiful thing as well. Okay, so how about we go into some questions and answers, and I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes, and after that I'm gonna go to my backend and upload the comma aberration tool there to, what is it? There, the link, which was Joo.Works/live-tool. So this one. So after these questions and answers, go there and you can find it very soon. And it's gonna be there only for a few hours. So thanks for hanging around on the live call. And yeah, where am I? There we are. Okay, so now I'm looking at your questions. So let's see, there's quite many questions. Okay. Okay, somebody asked you, I just bought the LUT kit and Cultural Leech, sorry, I'm slaughtering your name. I bought the LUT kit and the elements tutorial. I'm so happy I'm with the knowledge and the tools I got. Okay, actually this new version of look libraries is almost like doing a bit of like fusion. It's kind of taking a lot of the tools from the workshop and the LUT kit as well. But I'm gonna give you, as you are my like existing customer, if you want to buy this new look library version, I'm gonna give you an extra discount. So anyway, okay. Can you give the site for the free download yen? Okay, I'm gonna leave it soon. You can see it. So it's like Joo.Works/free tool. Okay. Does ACES Lite use DaVinci grain or your own custom grain? Okay, that's a good question because yes, it uses DaVinci's grain effect, but not only. It's kind of like a sandwich there in between. And let me actually show it to you. So let's go film texture and let's look at like 16mm grain. So now I just have this kind of a setting here that, let's turn this off. Let's zoom in very close. Oh wait, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry, mates. There we go. So now let's zoom in, and now there's no grain. And when I turn it all on, you can see that this is kind of like technique that I came up with, because I remember D-Hanser at the time was saying that that they have the best grain in the industry, and I was kind of like, really? And then I wanted to make something that is even better. And my opinion, this is very objective opinion, of course, is that my grain is the best in the industry. Anyway, the system is simple. You can copy this if you want. Here I first blur the image according to the blurriness of that certain film. Then I add a grain overlay, and then I sharpen the image. And then that gives this kind of illusion that the image is almost like created by these dots of grains. This is not the best example, but let's look here, for example. Like, for example, some very fine detail. For example, his eye. If I turn everything off, it's almost like a line, but when I turn everything back on, it's almost like the grains almost create the image. And I personally like it a lot. Okay? And the only downside of that is that it doesn't work in the free version of DaVinci Resolve. It works in the studio version. But when you apply the look library on, it's actually turned off by default, so you don't get the overlays. And in the course, I actually have a way of getting around like having your own grain effect and how to apply it. But it's not so good. Okay, sorry, that was a long-winded answer. Let's go forward. I would be interested to see some ultra clean and sharp looks. Yes, that would be great. And I'm probably going to add in the texture node, I'm going to add some sharpening effects on how it kind of sharpens things without it looking weirdly digital. I have some techniques for that as well. And then just trying to get myself away from making these film emulations all the time. So I want to try and make something like commercial as well. Okay, let's go. What was this next question? Okay, do you still use HDR wheels for white balance correction? Yes, I do still use HDR wheels for white balance correction. And some time ago, there was this huge news floating, like this wave of news going on internet that's not actually the best method of doing that. And I ran some tests. I'm really a testing guy. I really like to test stuff. And I don't see any problems with that. It was odd. I don't know what settings people used, but it's just fine. Who knows? Maybe there's something that's slightly better, but the difference is so marginal you don't see it. Okay, how do you handle exporting a video from a client who doesn't have calibrated screens? Okay, excellent question. And this is actually, I made a YouTube video about this just a week ago, or more than a week ago. And personally, I don't care about calibrated screens. I do calibrate my screen sometimes, like maybe twice every other year. And if I have an external monitor, I calibrate it like kind of once. But after that, I don't personally care, because the stuff that I do, no one is going to watch it on a calibrated screen. I'm not uploading to Netflix. who cares if the reds are slightly off? As long as it looks good on a decently calibrated screen, like an iPhone, like a new iPhone or MacBook Pro, and you know the settings, how what settings you should have there. Because oftentimes people think that the calibrated screen actually fixes their gamma issues that they have, and I'm gonna make a YouTube video about that. So if I'm gonna upload to YouTube requires me to send it Rexon 9 data, so I send it Rexon 9 data, and I'm just happy with it. And so far, I haven't had any issues. Okay, have you used the natively built in diffusion effect in Resolve? What is that? I haven't tried it. I need to go and test that next. Okay, thank you for the tip. I didn't know that existed. Okay, I joined a bit later. What is the main difference between the old ACES Lite and the new one? Okay, the old ACES Lite was, let's have it here. I'm going to show you the old ACES Lite look library. So I have an ACES Lite workshop, which is like an older product, and the ACES Lite look library is a new product that I created a year ago. And it's basically, look library is a collection of looks. The previous one looked like this. There's so many power grades. The new one will look like this. There's only 3, and now the look library will function more like a plugin. Okay. Now, so this will be not on our already students. No, the people who have bought the look library, previous version of the look library, will get this for free, and that's the thing with me. Like I like to give stuff. Like, I don't want to kind of like squeeze all the money out of you. I just want to give this to you. If you once have supported me, I want to keep on giving you stuff. Okay, what is the difference between ACES Lite and DaVinci Wide Gamut workflow? Is one better than the other? Does the look library work in WG? The way I use ACES Lite, I don't use ACES, I use ACES Lite, which is I made that term up. It's just like simplified version of using ACES, and that's basically just having your own color management and using ACES CCT as your color space, and it would be almost identical. I would say it would be pretty much identical if I would just have made it with using DaVinci Intermediate Wide Gamut. So it's just that the working color space is ACES, because ACES sounded cool. Originally, I was thinking doing like some kind of like ARRI system, ARRI light system, but then I realized that ACES is much more cooler than that. And originally, I made ACES Lite for every software, Final Cut, Premiere, and DaVinci. So then it wouldn't make sense for me to do it on DaVinci Wide Gamut because Premiere doesn't have it. ACES works everywhere, so that's why I used it there. And these tools work as long as you don't use the system-wide color management. These work in the in DaVinci Wide Gamut as well. You just need to import the footage into DaVinci Wide Gamut. So you need to come do it. Anyway, I'm going to teach it in the course inside this product as well. Okay, do your tools also work fine in DaVinci Wide Gamut? They should. But you just need to do the kind of sandwiching, which I will teach in the course that is inside the product. I lolled at work at the DeHanser grain joke. Well, thank you. I'm happy that you had fun with it. It's okay. It's a good thing, but sometimes there's some things I didn't like about it. Okay, so the simplify power grade node will not be added on the course ACES Kit and ACES Lite that the OG students have bought a long time ago. If you have bought my original ACES Lite course or my ACES Lite workshop, I will not add this look library there. But if you have bought during the last year the ACES Lite look library, you will have this new update for free. Okay, could I plug in a different grain element in the middle? Yes, you can. You can, like, that's the beauty of this. This is so beautiful because this is a power grade. You can mix and match whatever you want. So you can just add some other film convert or something there. Just add it there, as long as you have it working in ACES CCT color space, or somehow get it to work in that. Okay. Probably the linear gamma with gains up. There are a few prerequisite for linear to work for white balance that a lot of people miss. Yes, that's like an easy way. Like, I use offset, HDR offset, because it saves the shadows. Like, because there's like this toe. CCT means color correction with the toe. So ACES CCT, the CCT means color correction with the toe. There's a bit of a toe, and if you do it with the offset, like the normal offset, it doesn't respect the toe. The HDR wheel of global wheel respects the toe. And there's another way which is identical. So if you transform your footage from ACES CCT, or let's not go to the details, but if you transform your footage from ACES CCT to linear, gain wheel will actually work identical to offset wheel. So that's a thing. But I've tested and I don't see any difference. I don't see any point of going into the gain workflow because it's identical. Okay, this is why I love this tool. Supported once and never regretted. Yeah, I kind of want that as well. Okay, these are the last ones, I hope. I have super crash blacks when I transform footage from 6-way pocket into Rexon on iFootage. I get rid of it via the raw black level and black level. Do you know something about it? Okay, this is, I'm going to talk about in a future YouTube video about this whole kind of color management thing. Color management in general is like it's a multi-dimensional Sudoku. There's so many different moving parts everywhere. So it's, I need to make like a proper YouTube video about it where I kind of like step by step I show everything, because when you kind of get it, then everything works beautifully correct. But there's always something like, there's so many different parts that you need to understand. So I'm going to make a proper workflow about it, a proper YouTube video about it. Okay. Camera team sent me a message. My brain is starting to be mush, so you can send me, like Tim, you can send me on my website, you can send me questions if you want to talk about these things. I'm always up to some nerdy stuff talking about it. You send me a message so we can talk there more about this. Okay. Ramajoy, Matthias Kulogi had something similar, checking apply inverse forward in the fix photo. Okay, are we talking about color management and Rexon 9A and stuff like that? I'm gonna make a YouTube video about it. My previous video was, like, the title was it, I was right. And I still consider I'm still right about it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. If somebody wants to ask one more question, I'm up. And yeah, I think I'm gonna wind down for the day. Well, I'm gonna add the Comatic aberration to the link. So let's get back here. This was a link. I'm gonna close down the live stream in a few minutes. I'm gonna go there, do some back-end nerdy stuff, and upload a link there, and you can guys go and get it there for the next 2 hours or something like that. Okay, guys. This was actually so much fun. Okay, that was the first day of my 7 days. And the ACES Lite look library, if you buy the look library, like, actually don't buy it yet, buy tomorrow. I'm gonna give you a good discount. So when you buy tomorrow, then you will get this in 2 days before Friday. I promise that like new version is gonna be up there before Friday. And hopefully see you guys in tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now.